Yo, what's up, guys? Gecko here, and it is time to rank all of the Gen 4 Pokemon. So we'll just get started with Turtwig. Turtwig is cute, but I've never been big on like the face and the head shape is a little weird to me. Obviously, it's a turtle. We love turtles here. This is my favorite starter line from this generation. But Turtwig itself, I'm kind of mediocre on. Grottle, though, is very cool. I really like the direction this goes. I like that it's very much bridges that gap between Turtig and Torterra, where it still has Turtwig elements, but the bushes on the back and kind of the tougher look it starts to get kind of hints you toward where the evolution's going. And then Torterra is just so sick. Like, so sick. Easily the best starter from this generation, like, hands down. It's such a nice execution of this idea because the world turtle could easily end up being a very over-designed Pokemon by trying to put a whole, like, world or ecosystem on its back. But just having the tree and then the spikes that kind of symbolize mountains works so well. And I also love the really tough like face it has with the spikes on the side of its head. This is just such a cool Pokemon. I'm not a fan of Chimchar. Not a monkey person, and this design is just not interesting to me. The evolution's even worse. Really, there's just not much going on here at all. The only thing I like more about it is like the blue eyebrows. It adds just like that splash of color. That's nice. But otherwise, it's almost the same thing. Infernape is sick though. Infernape is super cool. I have really come to appreciate this Pokemon. I did not like this Pokemon when it came out, mostly because I don't really like monkeys, again, as I've said. It's not even that I dislike them so much. Like, I love all animals, but it's more just like, they're not really my aesthetic. I've never been into monkeys, really. But Infernape is super cool. This is easily the coolest monkey Pokemon they've made. Although Zarude is pretty cool, too. I don't know. They've made a few good monkeys, but Infernape is very cool. Piplup is so overrated, dude. I don't know why people rave about this Pokemon. Like, it is not even that cute. I know people are going to come at me for saying that. It's like, it's fine. It's not ugly, but like, this is not that cute or interesting of a Pokemon. Prinplup fucking sucks. This might be one of the worst Pokemon ever designed. There's nothing good to say about this. Absolutely trash design. I've never been an Empoleon person. I am not a fan. It's way too human. It looks like a guy wearing a penguin suit. It's very strange looking. The face is very flat. Like, I wish it had more of an actual beak. It's just like flat trident face. Don't like that. It doesn't feel like a bird. And then the body is so awkward. Like, I actually don't mind that it has the claws underneath the wings, but that does kind of make it look like arms. Like, it looks like a person wearing a suit. I don't know. It's just a weird design to me. I also don't like the, like, it looks like it's wearing clothes and it has kind of like the lacy thing on the front. Yeah, this design is not for me. Starly's cute, really solid starter bird Pokemon. Staravia's fine. Don't like the evolution quite as much. The curly Q on the head is just a little much for me. Looks a little weird. And then Staraptor's so sick. One of the best bird Pokemon they've ever made. Staraptor's fucking awesome. I love this Pokemon. Its cry is so good. I freaking love its cry. Bidoof is the GOAT, dude. Absolute GOAT. You are insane if you don't like this Pokemon. The thing is, people used to hate this. When Gen 4 first came out, people hated Bidoof so much. And I loved it because it was so hated. But it's gotten to the point that it's been like memed so much that it has like come full circle. And it's kind of a fan favorite now. A lot of people like Bidoof. Obviously not everybody, but like that is so funny to me. I appreciate this Pokemon so much. And then Bibarel just kind of drops the ball. You can't change perfection. You can't improve on perfection. Bidoof was already perfect. It's very weird that it doesn't have ears anymore. I wish it still had ears. The face is kind of unnerving. It gets like these big soulless eyes. Yeah, there's just a few things that make this not an appealing design to me. Cricketat's, I don't know, kind of cute, I guess, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really care for this design that much. I don't hate it, but it's also just like not a memorable Pokemon. That's the thing. Like, in a vacuum, if I were just judging the design, not knowing what it was, I'm like, okay, that's like a pretty like cute bug little guy. But as a Pokemon, it doesn't stand out at all. Like, I forget it exists all the time. Kricketune is memorable because of its cry, but the design I'm not a fan of. I really like what they were going for. I like that the body markings look like a mandolin or some kind of stringed instrument, and then its hands look like they would play the instrument. But since it's not actually an instrument and they're just like spots on its body, it kind of loses the whole concept there. You know, Toxtricity has the things on its body that it actually strums and plays like an instrument, which is like a little weird, but it works really well with the theming. And this just like kind of got halfway there and then didn't carry the idea through all the way. Shinx is super cute. I mean, it's Shinx. We love Shinx. Luxio also very good. I think maybe I'd put this one more down in B. I do still like it. It gets a little bit of that edgy teenager look in the middle stage there, but I like Shinx more. I think it's cuter. And then Luxray is so sick. I mean, this is like right here. This is already like the Gen 4 lineup. Your starter bird, and Luxray. Like everybody has these on their team. Let's be real. Badoo is super cute. I love Badoo. It is so adorable. Just a little seed dude, and it's just got like the little like curled pod arms on its head. Just a fun little guy. Roserade is a very nice evolution to Roselia. I like conceptually what they did with it. I really appreciate like taking the rose hands like one step further to kind of having this like masquerade kind of vibe to it. That's very cool. It's just not my aesthetic personally. Cranidos is fun. It's a dinosaur. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? Rampardos, also very cool. I love how spiky and tough it looks. It is a little bit derpy. It's also not one of the more memorable fossils, and I'm not sure why that is because, like I said, I do like the design, and obviously I love dinosaurs. Yeah, it's even on a gym leader's team. I don't know why this Pokemon isn't more memorable, at least to me personally. Like, I forget it exists. It's just, like, I don't know. It's kind of just there. Shieldon I find very cute as well. I love the big circular face, the big plate on its face. There's something endearing about that to me. Bastiodon, also very cool. The design I don't like quite as much. I think it's super, super clever to have it actually be like a bastion where its plating is shaped like a castle. It looks like a castle wall. That is such a clever and well-designed like well-executed piece of the design. But I don't love the big like teeth coming up in front of its eyes. And just like the face in general is kind of, I don't know, don't like it that much, which is why it's not higher, but I do still enjoy this Pokemon. The Burmese and the Wormadams, this whole evolution line I'm not a fan of. I'm just deciding how low they should go. Burmy I will put here. Because the thing is, the idea of a bagworm Pokemon was a good idea. Well, we already had that with Pineco, but I really like the execution here where it can actually take different materials and use them, and so the typing changes. It just added like a new spin on the concept that I really appreciated. And these designs are fine enough, inoffensive designs to me. Wormadam, on the other hand, fucking sucks. I absolutely hate this design. Mothim honestly sucks too. Like, it probably doesn't deserve F, but this is the most boring and least memorable starter bug that we have ever gotten. Like, the early route bugs, I forget this exists all the time. Super boring. Combee is very cute. I love that it's actually a honeycomb that has the little bees stuck into the spots there. That's like such a fun, goofy, and cute idea. Vespiquen, on the other hand, I'm not as fond of. I don't mind the idea of a queen bee Pokemon, but it just looks very strange. Don't really care for the design. Pachyrisu's fine, I guess. I mean, I'll put it up in B since it is cute and I like the blue coloration, but I've already said many times Pika clones are very redundant. I don't really care that much for them. Oh, Buizel. Buizel is actually one of the cutest Pokemon in existence. It is insane how adorable this Pokemon is. I love everything about it. Every single thing about it is perfect. There's nothing else to say. I don't need to go through and list different design elements I like because I like all of them. Floatzel kind of loses it a little bit for me because it is less cute, but it doesn't gain enough like coolness to offset the cuteness that it lost. I think part of it is like they're not eyelashes, but like the markings on its face just look a little off to me. Like there's something a little bit weird about the expression to me, but the rest of it is like mostly the same as Buizel, just bigger. Cherubi's cute. I don't find this one particularly memorable either, but it's a fun idea and it's a very cute design. Very simple. Cherrim, we'll rate it as one Pokemon here, both forms, because it's really the same thing. Um, this one, yeah, I feel like it belongs in C. The thing is, like, I do think it's cute, and I do like the idea of it blooming in the sun. So, like, I feel like I should move it up here, but just based on my own feelings on it, I really don't have any feelings toward it at all. Like, I'm very neutral on it. It's just kind of there. Shellos is great. Don't we all love Shellos? Shellos is great. Gastrodon, dude, we love the big chunky slug. Everybody loves the slug. I love Gastrodon. Ambipom fucking sucks. Speaking of monkeys that I do not like, this design fucking sucks. What a boring ass idea to be like, okay, Apom, the monkey that has a hand on its tail, let's just give it 2 hand tails instead, because that's an evolution. Like, it's stupid. Drifloon is so cute. I love this little guy. Drifloon is so adorable. Its lore is so disturbingly hilarious. Like, I love the Pokemon where you read the Pokedex entry and you're like, wow, that's really freaking dark. Why did they put that in here? That's Drifloon. Drifloon is also good. I don't like it quite as much, but it is still a very solid concept, good design execution. I do enjoy this Pokemon. Baneri is super duper cute. I love this little friend. Just an adorable little bunny. And then Lopunny is a no. Nope, nope, nope. That is a no from me. I hate how sexualized it is. Why did they design it like this? It's not just the design itself, but also the pose they put the sprite in. Like, why would you make this? Please don't do that. Miss Magius is very cool. This is a great conceptual evolution from Mischievous. Because, like, Mischievous is kind of a Banshee Pokemon, but, like, there's not much about it that gets the concept across. I didn't even realize that that's what it was based on until, like, the last year, I think. And so I really like that they added another element of it being witch-like, of it looking like a mage that would kind of have these mystical powers. Honchkrow is also very cool. It's a really, really fun idea as well to have, like, a head honcho of the crows, of the murder of Murkrows that you have. You know, Murkrow kind of has a hat already, so now just restyling it again to look more like, you know, a mob boss of sorts is just a really fun idea. I enjoy Glameow. I feel like this is a very, very forgotten Pokemon. I do think it's not terribly memorable, especially compared to a lot of other cat Pokemon. But the design itself, I actually really like a lot. The colors are very nice, they're very subtle, and I do really like the curly tail that it has. Perugly doesn't do it for me as much. I know it's meant to be ugly, but that just makes me not like it as much. It's just like a big, fat, ugly cat. It probably doesn't help that it's normal type, because there's not really much else going on, you know? Like, if it had some kind of, like, elemental or mystical powers, that would spice it up a little bit, you know, kind of like the Espeon thing going on. But it really is just a cat. That's all it is. Chingling's pretty cute. I really like the idea of having a bell, and that's like kind of the mouth is the open piece of the bell. That's a really, really clever idea. Very cute design. Stunky's good. There's not much to say about this one. I just enjoy it, and I really like the color scheme. Skuntank, one of my favorites from this generation, and one of my favorite poison types, honestly. I freaking love Skuntank. The, like, emo hair, like, spiky hair that's actually, like, its tail flopped over its head is so good. I love that. Bronzor's fine, I guess. I really like the lore behind it and, like, the inspiration of what it is. Very, very cool. But the actual design is, like, pretty straightforward. There's just, like, not that much about it that's interesting to me. Same with Bronzong. Actually, this one I put a little bit higher. I really like the bell aesthetic a lot. I think it's very cool. It's a very unique psychic type that I appreciate. It also has a little bit of a special place in my heart because it is the first Pokemon that I ever EV trained. So even though I don't really, like, love it, you know, it's not in S or A tier, it just has that little special connection with me. Bonsly is fine. Another one that's, like, pretty cute but pretty straightforward design. Not a fan of Mime Jr. I'm not going to put it all the way down in F because I think it does have some fun aspects to it. The pose is very expressive. The little puffy hat that it has is kind of fun, but like I just don't like this one. It's too humanoid for me, and it's not my aesthetic at all. Happini fucking sucks, dude. I hate this thing. Why did they give it a ponytail of like flesh on its head? It's super weird. And Chansey really did not need a baby form either. Like this just shouldn't exist. Chatot is fun. I love the note-shaped head that it has. That is so, so clever. That's like my favorite piece of its design. Also the tail being like a metronome. Like this is just a great design. Lots of like elements. I was gonna say subtle elements. They're actually not really that subtle, but like the design elements are so nice, but they work because it still looks very much like a bird. It looks like it has a feather on its head. Like it all looks very cohesive, but the little references to music everywhere are really fun. Spiritomb is so sick. This is one of the sickest Pokemon designs. It's so good, dude. We need more asymmetry in Pokemon. I love asymmetry. I love the one swirly eye that's just on the one side. And what a cool ghost design. It's so amorphous. It's so like mysterious and weird and like alien looking. It's so creepy. This is a perfect ghost design to me. Geibel is fantastic. Geibel, Gibble, however you say it. I've heard both ways. I always say Geibel. But yeah, this one is just, it's a Pac-Man dragon. That is what it looks like to me. It's a little circular guy that has a munchy mouth, and he's just gonna chomp everything. I love this little guy. Gabite is also very, very cool. Really love the color scheme. Really love just like the whole vibe of this Pokemon. And then surprisingly, Garchomp is actually the lowest for me in this evolution line. Still in B, I do still like it. But I think that Gabite just pulls the design off a little bit better. Garchomp has just like a little bit too much going on for me. Still very cool. It's a land shark dragon. Really cool concept. Munchlax is fun. You know, I never would have thought that they could pull off a baby for Snorlax because Snorlax is so, so iconic. But this just works for me. It's very, very different. I almost don't even think of them as very connected because they do look very different. But this is just a goofy little guy. I just think it's cute. Riolu's pretty good. I'd honestly put Lucario probably in the same. I'm not like a hardcore Lucario stan myself. I get the appeal of it. I do think that it's a cool Pokemon. It was very unique for the time. Honestly, still kind of is. Aura Sphere being a special fighting type move was very unique. Even though Lucario has good physical attack, but just like the concept of going a more special route with a fighting type concept for a Pokemon was unique. It is very cool. The amount that the fandom simps over and like praises this Pokemon is so much higher than how I feel about it that it's like, even though I like it, I feel like B makes sense because I'm not like crazy about it, if that makes sense. Hippopotamus, dude, why did they give it those eye stalk things? I hate the weird little things coming out under its eyes. I hate that. It's like so uncomfortable to me. Hippowdon is very cool though. I think Hippowdon is sick. I love how menacing it looks because hippos are freaking terrifying, but having it be a sand hippo, I never even thought about the fact that this comes from the same gen as Garchomp. Stay the fuck away from the deserts in this region, dude. Like, you will get destroyed. You got land sharks, you got sand hippos. This thing is terrifying. I will say though, the one thing that I don't really like about it is once we went to 3D models, its hands, its feet having like toes on all sides of it, like this, like it's like a circle. It's like a circle of toes around it. Is really freaking weird. I don't know why they made it like that. You couldn't tell in the sprite because it's like engulfed in sand. But I don't like that part of the 3D model. But everything else about the design is fine. I don't know. I go back and forth on Scorpy. I think, I don't know. It would be somewhere between B and C, like a very high C or maybe very low B. This one, I do really like the kind of accordion tail it has. Like, it's a very interesting looking bug Pokemon, and I really like the color scheme. The colors are very pleasing. Actually, yeah, move this one up. I would put this in B. I actually do think that this is a cool design. Drapion, though, I'm not that into, not that fond of. It just becomes too... It's too weird for me. I don't know. It loses the bugginess, you know? Like, Scorpy still very much looks like a scorpion, and this one's body shape is just so bizarre because it has the main body in the middle, but then its head is kind of on this long, like, I guess it's the neck, but then the hands come out of the head then, and then it also has the tail behind. Like, I don't know, the anatomy is just very bizarre to me. I wish it stayed a little bit more scorpion-esque. But for what it is, it does still look cool. It does still look menacing. Krogunk is like fine, I guess. It is a fun frog Pokemon. I do understand the appeal. The colors are very fun. It's sort of just there. On the other hand, Toxicroak is fantastic. I freaking love this Pokemon. Probably my favorite fighting type from this region. I'm often not super into fighting types anyway, but this is one that I'm like, Toxicroak is sick. Carnivine is fun. I like the idea behind it, but the design is pretty straightforward. Nothing too exceptional about it. All right, then we have Finneon. Um, it's fine. I don't know. A lot of the fish Pokemon are not very memorable. This one I think does set itself apart a bit. Like the design is much more unique than any of the other fish we had before, or at least a lot of them anyway. The color scheme is very nice, but at the end of the day, it is still kind of just a fish. I'm just like not that into it. Same with the evolution. Again, it does do something different. It is a very elegant design. I do give it props for that, but it just doesn't do much for me. I'm not a huge fish person myself. Mantike is cute, but another one that doesn't really stand out in any way is kind of just a smaller Mantine. All right, then we have Snover. Snover, this one's a little bit weird to me. The design is just kind of strange. It's very like nondescript. Like I get that it's supposed to be a pine tree that's covered in snow, but it kind of just looks like a blob with arms. Like it's kind of just a guy. Abomasnow is pretty cool. This one I like the blend of the concept with the pine tree and then like an actual abominable snowman kind of Pokemon. I think that works well. But the design isn't, crazy. It's not there's like nothing exceptional about it that would bump it up higher for me, but I do enjoy it well enough. Weavile's a very cool Pokemon. Very cool. I think I do still like Sneasel more. I think it looks cooler to have just the one feather instead of the whole spread on its head. But still a very cool Pokemon. Okay, now we start getting into the evolutions for the old Pokemon. So Magnezone, I think that this was a really cool direction to take Magneton because obviously it was just one of those Pokemon that like gained 3 of its health. And there's really nothing you can do with that concept further of like, are we just gonna add more of them on there? So actually making it more of a like UFO magnetic kind of saucer creature type thing is a really interesting direction to take it. Licky Licky, dude, fuck this. Why did they make this? This is so offensive that they put this in the game. This is wild. This is the most bland ass, like someone really phoned it in this day where they were like, oh, we need an evolution for Lickitung, make it bigger. That's it. It's just bigger. And it has a Wi-Fi symbol now for some reason. Like what a lazy ass design. I'm also so mad that this is what they went with when we saw beta designs that were so much better. What about the donut dinosaur, dude? They had a donut dinosaur evolution for Lickitung, and they went with this instead. That is crazy to me. Rhyperior has been all over the place for me over the years. There are years that I really love it. There are times that I hate it. There are times where it would fall somewhere in the middle. It's such a weird design because like Rhydon was already very cool. Like Rhyhorn and Rhydon both are already really solid Pokemon. And like taking it in this direction where it's kind of like a construction worker and it's got like these like plates on that kind of look like a helmet and belt and stuff is like not really the vibe that the originals had. Like I don't really like that direction for it. But then on the other hand, Rock Wrecker's a sick move. The fact that it launches boulders out of the holes in its hands is wild. Like, so there are things that could make it cool, but I think just overall the direction it went isn't good. Tangrowth is like, this is also a really boring one. Yeah, this is also a really boring one. There's not much to say. It just got bigger. I do like the arms though. I do like the big noodle arms. Electivire is not my thing. Not my thing. It has too much facial hair. The big bushy like fur on the side of its face and such looks like a big like beard and mutton chops to me, and I don't like that. It's too human. Magmortar, this one's so sad because I hate the face. The face is so fucking creepy and it looks so stupid. I don't know why they didn't just keep it more bird-like Magmar is. So I loathe the face. But it's unfortunate because the idea of having cannons for arms that shoot lava out of them is the most metal shit I've ever heard. So I want to like it, but I hate the face. If I could just like chop the head off or just like block the face whenever I'm looking at it, I would probably like this Pokemon more. Togekiss, dude, you already know. Togekiss, one of my favorite Pokemon. Like, this is like top 20 Pokemon for me. I fucking love this. Easily the best fairy type. Easily a top 20 Pokemon for me. This is one of the freaking cutest designs they've ever made. Yanmega is pretty freaking cool. I enjoy this Pokemon a lot. I'm so mad that we didn't get Bug Dragon typing with this because this was the perfect time to do it. But for what it is a very cool design. Oh, Leafeon is great. This is one of my favorite evolutions. Actually, this might be my favorite one because I know I talked about Sylveon in the Gen 6 ranking. I said I think that's probably the best Eevee design. But this one might be my favorite overall, actually. Like, Sylveon's grown on me, but once I see Leafeon again, I'm like, yeah, that's where it's at. I think it's just such a good blend of, like, still looking like Eevee, but feeling like a forest creature, like a guardian of the forest kind of vibe. That's what I like about grass types, or those are my favorite types of grass types. And that's just such a good direction to take Eevee, because Eevee evolves into all these different elements. It kind of embodies whatever typing it evolves into. So having grass or like leaves actually growing on it and looking like they're part of the fur just works super well. I'm not a fan of Glaceon though. I do not, this is one of the few evolutions that I actually dislike. Most of them, I either really like them or I'm just kind of neutral. I'm like, I don't love them, but they are good designs. This one, I just am not a fan of. Gliscor is sick. What a great Pokemon. Another A+ evolution for a previous Pokemon. Taking Gligar, making it even more scorpion-like, and having like a more menacing look. So sick. Mamoswine, very good evolution as well. I love the woolly mammoth direction for this line because it was already like a fluffy, snowy pig. It already had tusks even as Piloswine. So just to make that extra little leap at the end there to actually make it a full mammoth was such a good idea. Porygon Z is very cool. I think I'd put it down here. It does get a little bit overshadowed by Porygon 2 just because Porygon 2 is so much better for having a Violite once it got the evolution. And the design is also pretty similar, like same shapes and everything. This one just, is kind of reconfigured a little bit. So I think it does get overshadowed by the pre-Evo a little bit. But for what it is, I think it is still a good design. And the concept of being a virus is very cool. I hate Glade's design. Absolutely hate it. What the fuck is going on here? Why is its pelvis a perfect oval? Why are the legs like this? Like, why does it look like this? I hate this design. Oh, Probopass, dude. No. I hate this Pokemon. I hate the mustache, dude. The mustache is so fucking gross. I know they're metal filings. I get that. It just looks nasty, even if you know it's not actually hair. It looks so nasty. Dusknoir, I don't really care for this design. I'm not against Dusclops getting an evolution, but this is it just looks weird. I don't know. The design elements are weird. I don't know why it has an antenna on its head. The idea of a mouth on the body is very creepy and cool, but the way they did it it doesn't have the creep factor and like the cool, like ghostly creature factor. Like it's kind of there's just a face painted on there. Like I just wish they did more with the concept. I really like Frostlass. This is such a good design. This is one that like usually would not be my aesthetic personally, but the design is so fucking good that it is my aesthetic. Like this just looks so good. I think it also helps that this is a design that does the like clothing idea very well, where it doesn't feel like it's wearing clothes, but the design elements such as like the kind of like frayed, they're not necessarily frayed even, but just like the parts coming down off of its hands look like sleeves, but it's still just part of the body, so it's not actually wearing clothes. It just looks really, really good. Rotom is goated, dude. I did not come to appreciate this Pokemon enough until recently. What a fucking fantastic design. Look at this dude. If you were going to design any like technological row body kind of Pokemon, this is the way to do it. Having the tiny little body that has like robotic looking eyes, and then having just the shape is so pleasing. The lightning bolts shooting out the side, almost like arms, and the way they like, erratically move around as it moves. This is such a cool Pokemon. And like we might as well rate all the forms too, because all the forms are different. I do like the base Rotom the most before it takes over any of the appliances. But if we're gonna rate these, I'd say the oven is like probably an A. Very fun idea. I love the arms it has. Rotom Wash. I mean, this one I'm biased towards because of competitive. Like everyone's got Rotom Wash. But actually, in terms of the design, I think the oven works a little bit better. Like I think I would put this one probably down here. The design looks a little more goofy, especially having the door to the washing machine on the front. I guess the oven's like that too, but for some reason on the washing machine it just looks stranger to me. The fridge is kind of whatever. This one's probably the least interesting form to me. The fan is fun. I love the little like curly cues on the side of it. That's very fun. The lawnmower is also kind of whatever. Not super into this one. So yeah, I would say I like the oven the most overall. Okay, now we're into the legendaries. So the three spirits of the lake. The three, what do they call this? The lake trio. Um, okay, I think I would put Azelf. Azelf I like the most out of these. Partly because it's blue, but also just the head shape looks the least strange to me. Mesprit, don't really love that it looks like it has hair. It's just a me thing. I don't like when they do that. Yeah, and then Uxie, I don't like the lumps on its head. It just doesn't look nice. I don't like it. Dialga's sick. Super, super cool design. Really, really unique dragon. And I know that that's what they were going for. Like, I've heard them talk about with these legendaries, they wanted them to be dragon types, but look very different than previous dragon type Pokemon that we had. And they definitely pulled that off. This is really unique, but it works very well. Palkia, I'm not as fond of. For one, it doesn't look like a water type at all, even slightly. Like that would be one of the last types I would guess for this. Really should have been like psychic or something like that. Anyway, that's beside the point. The design is also just, I don't know, it just doesn't do much for me. It's in C, so it's not like bad. It just doesn't do much for me. Heatran is underrated, dude. I'm so sick of people hating on this Pokemon. Why do people hate Heatran? This is a sick design. This thing like climbs around on walls inside of a volcano. It's like made of molten metal. This thing is sick. Regigigas, very cool. Definitely my favorite Reggie. It was very cool to get like a leader of that trio who is just kind of like this big colossus that isn't tied to a particular element. I really like the moss growing on it and like the multicolored, I guess, eyes or like markings it has on its body to again kind of get across that it's not any particular element. This is just a really cool Pokemon. Giratina's so sick, dude. This form particularly, though, I actually don't really like this one, like, at all. I don't like this design. I don't know, something about it. It's not even that it's centipede-like, because the claw things are the coolest part of it. I think it's something about the body not having limbs, and then the face isn't as cool to me. I don't know. I can never explain what it is. I just don't like this form. But the other form is freaking fantastic. One of my favorite legendaries, definitely my favorite from this gen. What a badass concept, dude. To actually have wings that are like made of shadow, but then it still has like these bloody red claws sticking out. This is such a sick Pokemon. It also works so well to have 6 legs. Again, kind of that thing they do where it looks a little bit like alien. It's meant to be like off-putting and freak you out a little bit, but it still works very well in the design. Cresselia is cool. Very elegant design, very nice colors. I love the kind of like rings circling its body. This is a great design. Fion sucks, dude. Why did they make this? Manaphy's not much better, but like Fion's down here for not only being a design I don't like, but also just being so pointless. Like, why did this need to exist? Darkrai it's not a good design. The concept is very cool. I like the nightmare concept, but the design is very boring. Shaman's freaking adorable, dude. So freaking adorable. I love this little hedgehog friend. So fluffy, so adorable. I love the little flower pin to it. So cute. The sky form I'm not as keen on. I do still like it. But the hedgehog form is where it's at. And then Arceus. Arceus, Arceus, Arceus. Where do we place you? You know, I have never been that into this Pokemon. I like the honestly, kind of the only thing I like about it is like the ring around its body. It looks very angelic, very otherworldly. I think that works well. But the rest of it is like bizarre. There's like a lot going on and it's all very strange. And I know the whole thing is supposed to look kind of strange and otherworldly since it is like a deity, but it's a little too much for me. All right, I'm just going to go back and review the tiers super quick and see if I'd move anything around. Honestly, okay. I feel like I put Shaman really high cuz the thing is like S tier is like my absolute favorites in the region, like ones that I will rave about. I do love Shaman, don't get me wrong. It's super adorable, but I think I would actually put him more like here. Combi shouldn't be this high up. Rotom Heat, actually thinking about it, I don't think I had to put any of the Rotom forms quite that high, but that is my favorite one out of all of them. But I think it belongs more in B. Gallade is a little bit harsh. Looking at what else is down here, it doesn't suck that much. Like, it sucks, but compared to Probopass and like Licky Licky, that's a little bit harsh on it. All right, so there you have it. That is my ranking for all of the Gen 4 Pokemon. This one I feel pretty solid on. Like, there are others where even like, you know, while I'm editing them or just like watching them back, I'm like, I would already maybe move some things around here and there. Just like slight changes, kind of what I did at the end here, like moving something up or down one tier. But this one, like, I feel pretty solid about like this. These really are my thoughts on all of these. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts down below and what your favorites and least favorites are from this region. And I will catch you guys next time for our Gen 3 ranking, which I'm super excited for because it is my absolute favorite generation of Pokemon. But I'm very curious to go through and do an official list and see if the Pokemon end up as high as I think they're going to. So I will catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.